Welcome to Kiel University Estates and Development Directorate. Kiel is the largest integrated campus university in the UK and lies within a 617-acre estate. The campus has a wide diversity of buildings, from 19th century listed buildings to state-of-the-art science laboratories. Located centrally within the UK in Staffordshire, Kiel is a major contributor to the local economy. With a total staff of over 1,700, the university has major links to businesses in the region. Kiel was founded to promote interdisciplinary scholarship, making a distinctive contribution to higher education by emphasizing the strength of a broad educational program. Integrated within all our daily activities, our top priority is the health and safety of all the students, employees, visitors and contractors who enter our campus. At Estates, we expect you to make health and safety your top priority too. You are legally required by the Health and Safety at Work, etc. Act 1974 to ensure that you do not endanger yourself or others whilst on site. Failure to follow safe working practices will result in you being asked to leave the site and your company being removed from our list of approved contractors. Make sure you know who your contract coordinator is before you start work, and have a contact telephone number with you at all times. If you are unsure about anything, stop work and ask your contract coordinator how to proceed. To assume could be dangerous. Before any work can commence, all contractor companies are required to submit a risk assessment and method statement in relation to their work here at Kiel. It is important that all contractor employees are familiar with these documents and comply with the conditions detailed in them. During the next few minutes, we'll explain to you the rules and emergency procedures required on campus, information which will help to safeguard both yourself and everybody else on site. This will help you to understand how we expect you to behave while you're on the campus. You must be fully conversant with the Kiel University Code of Safe Working Practice for contractors on site. You may be questioned at any time on your knowledge of this booklet. You'll be asked to complete a short questionnaire after you've watched this video to ensure that you understand the key points. On completion of the questionnaire, you'll be issued with a contractor ID card, which you must have with you at all times on site. On arriving for work, you must report to Estates reception in the William Eames building and sign in before any work can be commenced. If you require keys or swipe cards for access, they will only be issued on presentation of your ID card. All keys must be returned before 5 p.m. each day. You must ensure that you sign out when your job is completed. If, by agreement with the contract coordinator, you need to work outside of normal hours, you must report to the 24-hour security reception at the Darwin building. Do not enter a building where you have not been authorized to carry out work. Parking permits can be provided on request from Estates reception and must be visibly displayed in the vehicle. On entry to the university from the main entrance, you will have entered a 30 miles per hour speed limit. The campus generally has a speed restriction of 20 miles per hour, and the provisions of the Road Traffic Act apply within the university grounds. Please observe the specific speed limits on campus. These may vary depending on the area. Heavy vehicles use the roads and a high number of pedestrians, some of whom may not be familiar with the road layout and crossings. Therefore, it is vital for the safety of everyone that you adhere to the speed limits. Please drive with due care and attention at all times. Do not drive over grassed areas or curbs, as this may cause damage that can be costly to restore. Unless you have a parking permit supplied by Estates, you must use a pay and display ticket. Please use the car park closest to your work area if possible, as indicated by the contract coordinator. Do not park in restricted areas or block access points, disabled bays, emergency exits or fire hydrants. If you do, you may be issued with a civil parking charge. Kiel University's estate was constructed when asbestos-containing materials were in common use. Estates maintain an electronic database of asbestos management surveys. Hard copy registers of asbestos-containing materials, which have been identified in university buildings and service ducts across the site, are available to view via estate's reception or your contract coordinator. If any alteration to the fabric of a university building is needed, however minor, during the course of your activities, it is essential to consult the asbestos register before the work starts and agree a safe method of work with your contract coordinator. This may require an additional in-depth refurbishment or demolition survey to be carried out prior to works commencing. If any materials are discovered that are suspected of containing asbestos, work must cease immediately. Your contract coordinator must be informed and the work area risk assessed. Do not resume work until the material has either been found to be asbestos-free or has been made safe by specialist contractors. All such works shall be carried out in accordance with the asbestos management policy. Contractors must be trained in the safe use of the tools required for the job. All tools brought on site must be fit for purpose and well maintained. If tools are portable electrical appliances, they must have a valid safety test pass label. All equipment must operate at 110 volts or be battery powered unless specifically agreed in advance. Ladders must be suitable for industrial use, inspected prior to use, tied off to prevent movement, and placed on level ground. Where possible, avoid busy thoroughfares, and where fitted, always use the roof access bracket. Towers and scaffolds must be erected and inspected by suitably qualified personnel at the appropriate times. They must also comply with all relevant legislation. It is important that access ladders to the ground floor area are removed or secured to prevent unauthorized access outside working hours. Lifting gear, such as chains and hoists, must only be used with the permission of your contract coordinator. Proof that all lifting equipment has been tested must be supplied. When working in residential or student accommodation, please respect the privacy of the occupants, particularly when using access equipment or ladders. Welding, burning and grinding, or any other activity that uses a naked flame, is not allowed on site without permission. Your coordinator will arrange for a hot work permit to be issued. Flash screens must be erected when carrying out welding. Gas welding sets and hoses must be in good condition. Hoses must not be cracked or frayed, and valves must not leak. Flashback arresters must be fitted and certification available to indicate that they've been inspected within the last 12-month period. You may be allowed to bring your own forklift truck or MUP or power-assisted hoists onto site, but only after supplying proof that the driver has been fully trained, together with a log to show that the vehicle is regularly serviced and maintained. Only electric-powered vehicles will be allowed inside any university building. There is a no smoking policy in force within the buildings on campus. Designated smoking shelters are available on site. If, for any reason, you become unfit to carry out your duties whilst on campus, you must stop work and contact your line manager or company representative immediately. Being under the influence of alcohol or drugs may constitute a serious hazard or may be illegal. If you appear to be under the influence of drink or drugs, you'll be asked to leave. Portable stereos or MP3 players can only be used in certain areas with consent from estates and your contract coordinator. Before any noisy, dusty or disruptive work is carried out, you need to gain permission from estates who will inform and liaise with the relevant person. Substances hazardous to health are not permitted on site without the approval of your contract coordinator. If flammable gases, solvents, corrosive chemicals, or any other hazardous chemicals are to be allowed onto the university campus, you must provide a full COSH assessment with the relevant safety data sheets and risk assessments prior to your visit. Permission will not be withheld without a good reason. If you do obtain permission to bring substances onto site, their containers must be properly labelled and fit for purpose. All safety signs on site must be observed as they provide essential information. Take notice of the blue and white signs which advise when the wearing of protective equipment is compulsory. These signs are often found at the entrances to buildings or work areas. Your contract coordinator will notify you of any specific hazards in your designated working area. It is important that you fully understand our fire evacuation emergency procedures. On discovering a fire, always raise the alarm at once. It is of critical importance that persons in a building which is on fire should be given warning. Use the fire alarm break glass point where there is one. Operating the alarm does not directly call the emergency services. Call the fire service at once by dialing 9999 on an internal telephone or 999 with a mobile. Give the correct address, which is Keele University, and then the block, hall or building name. Make sure your message is understood and then call Keele Security on 888 on an internal phone for assistance or 01782 733 004 from a mobile. Emergency numbers are listed in your Code of Practice handbook and on the reverse of your contractor ID card. Always evacuate the building on hearing the alarm. If it is safe to do so, turn off any equipment you are using, such as welding sets, saws and grinders. If it is safe to do so, close all windows and doors. Leave the building by the nearest available exit. Do not use a lift or hoist, as you may get trapped. Assemble at the fire assembly point as indicated in the building. Contact your contract coordinator. Stay at the assembly point until permission is given to return to your working area. Do not return to the building for any reason until you are authorized to do so. Only fight the fire if you are certain that it is safe to do so, and only if you've been trained in the use of firefighting equipment. Make sure that the preceding actions have been completed first. If you should smell gas, telephone the National Gas Emergency Service on 0800 111 999. Give the information requested and act upon the advice given. Call the University Site Security on 888 from an internal phone or from a mobile on 01782 733 004. This telephone should not be in or near the place where you smelled gas. Give them your name, the details of where you smelled gas, and a telephone number where you can be contacted. The contractor is responsible for providing employees with any personal protection required, for example hard hat, eye protection, shoes, gloves, ear defenders, and whatever is appropriate depending on the nature and location of your work. You must comply with the requirements laid down in your company's risk assessment and method statement, and with any permits to work issued to authorize your job. Keele University operate a number of permit-to-work procedures to control hazardous activities such as hot work, isolations, work in confined spaces, excavation, or spiking of the ground. Your contract coordinator will advise you if any permits are applicable to your work. Before commencing any excavation or spiking activity, you must obtain information relating to the buried services in the work area from estates. Remember that even if you have not been involved in completing the permit, you must be fully aware of and understand its contents. For your own safety and for the safety of others on site, it is vital that you follow all the requirements of the permit. You must not accept a permit or start work until you fully understand and are satisfied with these requirements. You must keep your copy of the permit with you at all times so that you can prove you are authorized to be on site. The CDM, Construction, Design and Management Regulations, may apply to your work on site. If the work lasts for longer than 30 days or 500 person days, it is likely to be notifiable to the HSE. Your company will have identified and defined any requirements at the contract stage. Make sure you understand and comply with these requirements. In case of serious injury or illness, call the ambulance at once by dialing 9999 or 999 with a mobile. Dial 888 and tell security that you have called the ambulance service, who will then organise for the ambulance to be guided from the main entrance to your location. From a mobile phone, dial 01782 733 004 to call security. Carry out normal first aid. Use a qualified first aider if available. A list of first aiders can usually be found near to the entrance of each building. Please note that security staff are all qualified first aiders. Less serious injuries may still require first aid treatment, but you do not need to call security. Any accidents or near misses must always be reported to your contract coordinator and be recorded in the estate's accident logbook. You must be wary of contact with chemicals. Any cuts or abrasions whatsoever acquired on or off-site must be covered before you start work. Always wash your hands before and after visiting the toilet and before consuming food and drink. You'll find washing facilities throughout the campus. Change dirty clothing before entering any communal food or catering areas. The university is an open campus at all times. Your compound and the security of your on-site property is your responsibility. You're expected to keep your work area safe and free from risks at all times. Use signs, barriers, fencing or sheeting. Limit unauthorized access and warn anyone in the vicinity of the risk of slips, trips and falls and exposure to dust, noise or other hazards. Ensure rubbish and debris produced during the work is removed regularly and safely from site. At the end of each day and at the end of the job, the area must be left in a tidy, secure and safe condition. A full audit of your job may be carried out at any time. Failure to meet the required standards could result in your removal from site. Keele University is committed to reducing its environmental impact from internal operations and development of the campus. Protection of the environment is of particular importance to Keele University. The university has a conservation area and tree protection orders are in place throughout campus. Before carrying out any works to trees, you must liaise with your contract coordinator, who, in turn, will consult with the grounds team. Wherever trees are present, care must be taken to protect the area around the tree. Protective fencing must be erected around the drip line or branch reach of all mature trees. Contractors must not use trees as a method of supporting equipment or for fixing notices. The university campus has a wide variety of wildlife and plants, some of which are protected by legislation. You must adhere to any signs that advise that plant-borne diseases have been found and follow the instructions. There may be specific restrictions that you must follow to prevent spreading plant diseases. All buildings, particularly their walls, eaves and roofs, are potential bat roost sites and are protected in UK law. If you discover bats or roosts in the area where you're working, stop work immediately and contact your contract coordinator. Contractors should not dispose of any materials through the site effluent or surface water drainage system. If you create or spot a major spill, contact security immediately, as it is important to act quickly to prevent the leak entering the surface water drainage system. Small spillages of liquids must be cleared up immediately in a responsible manner, according to the process listed in your risk assessment and method statement. Management for the disposal of your waste should be arranged with your contract coordinator. This should include the segregation of material for recycling, including all paper, glass, metal, fluorescent and incandescent lamps, electrical appliances or devices, batteries and oil, packaging and cardboard, glass and plastic containers. Much of this is compulsory under certain regulations. This can be confirmed by your contract coordinator. Personal waste should be recycled within the university internal recycling bins. If your job is likely to generate a large quantity of waste, you'll be required to make your own disposal arrangements. If this involves use of a skip, it should ideally be covered. All skips should be placed at least 6 meters away from any building. If this is not possible, it must be covered. You must use a licensed waste disposal contractor, and you'll be asked to provide evidence of this. Kiel University have implemented an energy management system certified to ISO 50001. It covers areas as diverse as energy policy, monitoring, measuring, operational aspects, and auditing. The system covers all variables that can be monitored and influenced by the university to achieve continual improvement in energy performance. To conserve energy, make sure electrical items are switched off when not in use. Comments and suggestions are encouraged for improvements to the system. Please contact estates at kiel.ac.uk if you would like more information. To summarize, you must follow the safety rules and regulations at all times. Make sure you know the site emergency procedures in the event of a fire, a gas escape, an environmental spill or other incident. Remember that the emergency telephone number in the event of a fire or for medical emergencies is 9999 from an internal phone, or 999 with a mobile. You can contact security on 888 or 01782 733 004 from a mobile phone. Check the location of your assembly point before starting work. Report all on-site accidents, hazardous events and near misses. Wear personal protective equipment at all times when you are working on site. Look for PPE requirements on your risk assessment, method statements and permits to work before you start work. Take note of the blue and white signs throughout the site, which advise when the wearing of PPE is compulsory. Your contract coordinator will identify specific hazards in your work area before you start work. If any materials are discovered that are suspected of containing asbestos, work must cease immediately. You must keep your permit on your person at all times, so you can prove that you are authorized to be there. Permits are necessary for jobs such as hot work, isolations to electrical circuits, entry into confined spaces, and excavating or spiking of the ground. Your work area must be kept safe and tidy at all times. Remember your environmental responsibilities. Follow site rules on the disposal of waste materials and treatment of spillages. The Health and Safety at Work, etc. Act 1974 states that you must ensure that you do not endanger yourself or others while you're on site. Any unsafe practices will result in you and your company being banned from working on the campus in the future. Remember, if you are not sure, ask your contract coordinator. You will now be asked to complete a short questionnaire to ensure that you've understood the key points of this video. Thank you for watching. We look forward to working together safely.